Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for joining me. Now this isn't a watch brand I've ever reviewed before, so this is a first for me. I've reviewed some Orients, gosh, probably a couple years ago, like the Mako and some others, but I've never reviewed an Orient Star. So this is gonna be the first on the channel. Interesting watch, and I thought it was gonna be, honestly, I thought it was gonna be a little bit nicer than it is. Not a bad watch, don't get me wrong, but for this being the flagship Orient that you can buy, kind of like Seiko has Grand Seiko, this is kind of like Orient's version of a Grand Seiko, but not nearly as nice as a Grand Seiko. It's not quite as nice as I thought it would be. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this review. This is the Orient Star Gilt, which means gold, 200-meter automatic diver, and this is model number RK-AU0303B. And as usual, we're going to look at the style, the build quality, the functions, the wearability, and loom, and then I'll let you know what I think of this new diver. Well, relatively, I think it was released like late last year from Orient Star. Now, as you guys know, I've partnered with Shopping in Japan, and I'm very excited. They loan me all of these watches. I don't get to keep them, nor do I make a dime if any of y'all buy from Shopping in Japan, but you can save yourself 20 bucks at checkout by using my coupon code MAV20 off. That's MAV20OFF, and that's going to save you $20 off your entire order, whether you buy one watch or 5 watches. That's going to cover most of your shipping costs from Japan, not everything, but it's going to cover most of your shipping costs from Japan. All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at this thing. Now, I've never seen an Orient Star box, so here you go. We're both seeing this for the first time. This must be some sort of like inventory tag that Shopping in Japan uses before they actually send the watches out. That's what this thing is right here. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. And as usual, I look at these watches a little bit before I actually do the review. And guys, I'm not overly impressed with this thing for a couple different reasons. Anyway, I'll tell you about them. I mean, it's still a nice watch, but I expected, a little bit more from this being the flagship watch that Orient, makes. Well, it's definitely their flagship diver. I think it's their first legit diver that they've ever really made. So it's okay. You'll see. I mean, good looking watch for sure, but it's got a couple flaws. All right, let's go ahead and open this thing up. Here's the watch. Cool looking, man. I mean, it's a great looking watch, and I love that power reserve indicator up there at 12 o'clock. Really, really like that. I love all of the rounded indexes. Like, they're all rectangles, but they've all been like rounded or ovalized. Is that really a word? I kind of like that overall rounded look. This reminds me a lot of a watch that I can't think of the name of right off the top of my head. Tell me what y'all think it looks like. It just reminds me of a certain, I can't remember the name of the watch or the brand, but I'm sure y'all are going to remember. Anyway, put your comments in the comment section and tell me what you think it looks like. It just reminds me of something else, and I can't, for the life of me, off the top of my head, think of what it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and take this thing off. Actually, let's go ahead and do it this way. It's kind of tight on this pillow. All right. And this strap is one of the reasons why I'm not super in love with this watch, among a couple of other things. All right, you get your warranty stuff right here. There's your warranty stuff, Orient Star. There you go. Let's open it up. See what it says. Looks like it's all in Japanese, I think. Yep, all in Japanese. Now, Orient is part of the Seiko Epson group, and this is a little bit confusing to a lot of people. There are actually 3 different groups, part of the Seiko group, okay? They're all independent companies. I can't remember which watch has this explanation in the video, but I'll find it and put a link for you in the description field. But that explains all of this Seiko group stuff in a lot more detail. So anyway, so there you go. And then you open this up, and you have got, looks like a little manual here. Looks like it's written in just Japanese right there. I'm not going to open these things up because honestly, it's just kind of a pain. And then you have a English and Japanese manual right there. Both. All right. So let's go put all this stuff away. Let's talk about this watch. And Shopping in Japan recommended that I review this thing. I guess they've got them in. They want to sell them. And I had never reviewed an Orient Star, and I hadn't reviewed just an Orient in, gosh, a long time. Again, I'll try to find out how long it's been since I reviewed an actual Orient. But I do like the watch overall, but it does have some flaws. So let's go ahead and talk about the spec. I'll go ahead and put those up on the left-hand side of the screen for you. Looking at a 43.6 millimeter case. It's 14 millimeters thick. It's 51.1 millimeters lug to lug. It's on a 22 millimeter silicone strap. It's got a sapphire crystal with an AR coating. It is water resistant to 200 meters, which is 660 feet. It's got the Orient Star F6N47 movement with a 50-hour power reserve. You do have a screw down case back. You've got a signed screw down crown over here at 3 o'clock, which is one of my gripes, by the way. You do have the date function over at 3 o'clock. Another one of my gripes. It's extremely small. You do not have a day function. You do have the power reserve indicator up there at 12 o'clock, which I like a lot. It is windable. It is hackable. Loom, I'm guessing, it doesn't actually say on their website, I'm guessing it's Lumibrite since, it's part of the Seiko group. You have a 120 click unidirectional bezel, which I do like, good click action, and it is made in Japan. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives. Overall, fantastic looking watch. Love the power reserve. Love all the rounded indexes and handset. I just think it's a really good looking watch. A little bit too much writing there. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. You got the Orient Star logo, Orient Star, and then you have automatic divers 200 meter. A little bit wordy down there near the 6 o'clock index. Of course, you got Japan down there next to the 6 o'clock index. Kind of a matte black dial. You have like a little sunken power reserve indicator up here at 12 o'clock, which I really appreciate. Any watch that has a power reserve indicator, whether it be a battery powered watch, a solar powered watch, an automatic watch, I just like that. It's just another neat little piece of functionality that's very useful. So if you need to hand wind the watch or shake the watch around or expose it to light. I've always loved the power reserve indicator on any type of watch. The chapter ring basically has the little minute markings right there, as well as the bezel has those little black dots. The date window, it's very small. It doesn't have any sort of border or bezel around it, so it's really hard to read. I wish they made the date window. I don't know what it is with watch manufacturers that make these date windows so dang small, man. It's kind of hard to read, especially if you're just looking at it like this, like average, length away from your face when you're holding your watch. It's kind of hard. You have to really kind of bring it up to your eyes a little bit closer to be able to read that date. Now the bezel, good click action, almost little to no play, which I like. It doesn't line up. Now y'all are gonna be shocked by this. That was some sarcasm. It doesn't line up perfectly, at least not to my eye. So that's one click. There's the next click. Now, if I back play it right there, that's where it stopped. If I do it again one more time, as you can see, it's off just a little bit. And if you look down at the bottom, you can see the 30 should be a little bit more to the left. So it's off just a tad, not enough to drive me crazy. But for a flagship watch from Orient Star, I think they would have got this bezel alignment on point. This is not a cheap watch, man. So, come on, Seiko, or actually Epson, because Epson makes this thing. It's a little bit confusing. Anyway, the crown, I would expect the crown to be a little bit smoother than this one. And one problem is, if you look at the bezel kind of has that angle, that kind of tapered down angle. Let me get this thing in focus for you. And if you notice, right where the crown is, it doesn't like end flush with the case. I'm trying to get this in focus. Here, let's do this. There you go. Now, if you look, it kind of goes over the case just a tiny bit. Right there where my finger is. So when you're unscrewing and screwing that crown back in, your finger's going to hit the edge of that bezel, and it's gonna probably knock the bezel just a tiny bit, and it interferes with the normal operation of you winding and unwinding that crown. So I wish that bezel had been made flush with the case, but as you can see, it overlaps by like, I don't know, 0.5 millimeter, but that's enough to kind of interfere with you winding and unwinding that crown. The crown itself, it's signed, it's nice. I would expect it to be a little bit smoother than it is. And see, right now, my fingernail is hitting that bezel, and I wish it wouldn't. It's got decent pop action. And it's not bad, but the winding action it's a little bit harsh. And when you screw it back in, it doesn't have any play in it. And there's like no spring action. So you just kind of push it in and hope that you're starting to wind it on the threads. Like right now, I thought I was getting ready to cross thread it. So there you go. Now I felt it, and my nail is hitting that bezel. So maybe I'm just being overly picky, guys. Let me know, man. But I wish this bezel had been made flush with the case, which it has not. The case itself, not too bad at all. Mostly brushed surfaces, Nothing really polished on here at all. I think you get some polished surfaces on the back side of the case. You got drilled lugs, which is always nice. Let's go ahead and look at the back. Yeah, the back has this polishing around the edge, and the center is brushed. You got the Seiko, Seiko. You got the Orient Star logo right there, some laser etching. It's still got the factory sticker on it, so it might look a little bit blurry. But you got some laser etching around there. Screw down case back, nothing really, nothing revolutionary here. The bottom of the lugs are polished, which I just noticed. And then everything on top is pretty much brushed. So, I mean, overall, a really good looking watch. I just wish they had, fixed a couple of these things, maybe thought them out a little bit better. Of course, that's really easy for somebody to say that, doesn't design watches or manufacture watches. But I think those are some things they could have worked on or maybe work on in a future generation. Not that they're listening to anything I have to say. But if you are Orient Star, work on those things I've talked about, man. That would make this an excellent watch. The silicone strap, it's a little bit stiffer. The new Seiko Solar watches come with a great silicone strap, as well as the Citizen Pro Masters come with a great silicone strap. This one by Orient Star is just a little bit stiffer than I would like it to be. I mean, you have two keepers, two floating keepers. I don't think you really need both of them. They kind of getting in the way a little bit. So you could probably get rid of one of these if you really wanted to. Nice tang and buckle. Let me see if it's signed or anything. I can't tell what that says underneath there. I can't tell what it says at all. Oh, stainless steel. There you go. It's not signed on the top, which normally a manufacturer likes to put their logo on the top. It just feels a little generic, man. It just doesn't feel up to the quality of what this watch, what this watch's price point kind of recommends or states. So, I mean, it's not bad, guys. I was expecting more of a wow factor. And look right there, you can see Epson right there. So, this is made by Epson, which is part of Seiko, which is part of the Seiko group, which are actually all three independent companies. Man, it's really confusing. Anyway, so there you go. So let me go and try this thing on. And I don't hate the watch at all. I love the overall look of it a lot. I just wish they'd fix some of this other stuff. So there you go. Good looking watch, man. These come with a stainless steel bracelet as well. They also have a blue dial version, an all black version with no gilt, no gold around any of the indexes or hands or anything. So they come in a couple different versions. They're all between like $500 and $600. So guys, I have to say I'm a little underwhelmed with the Orient Star, man. I was expecting a lot more. And I really want to know y'all's opinion if any of y'all have this particular watch or you have an Orient Star. So before I wrap up the video, let me go ahead and give you a Loom Shot here. I can't get the room as dark as I want. Again, it doesn't state or specify which type of loom they're using. I'm guessing it's LumiBrite. Since these watches are made by Epson, which is part of the Seiko group, it just makes sense to me that they would be. Really good loom. That's one thing that I liked about the watch a lot. Excellent loom. Yeah, this has got to be LumiBrite, man. Got to be. So there you go. Really nice luminous pip up here at 12 on the bezel. Nice nice aluminum insert on the bezel. A lot of, good grip on the bezel as well. It's just it overlaps the case a little bit, man. It's like a little bit of a ledge there. You can see it right there, right where the crown is. And that just interferes with you winding and unwinding that crown. So, I just noticed some more polished areas between the lugs right there. So, I mean, good looking watch. I think they just, could have done a little bit better. So let me know what y'all think. And if you want to get one of these, head on over to Shopping in Japan. And I think they are currently $596. Now, Shopping in Japan is actually closed until May 11th. So any order you make on their website, it's not going to be shipped out until May 11th because of the coronavirus. And I guess, inventory and supply chain problems from China. So they're basically closed down until May 11th. So anything you order from them, just, be aware it's going to take a while for it to get to you. So anyway, also make sure you use my coupon code MAV20 off. That's MAV20OFF. And that will save you $20 off your entire order, which is going to cover most of your shipping costs. Again, not all of it, but most of your shipping costs from Japan. Again, the coupon code is MAV20 off, MAV20OFF. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification bell. All of us YouTubers really appreciate it when you do that. And guys, I really want to know your thoughts on this watch. I'm very curious to see what y'all think. Was I too harsh with it? Is it not that bad? bad? Do y'all love it? Do you have one? Have you had the same issues that I've stated here in the review? Am I just full of shit? I mean, I'm probably full of shit, but that's just, that's beside the point. But anyway, let me know what you think. And until the next review, I will see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.